I have not made a YouTube video in quite some time now, so today I'm taking you along with me for a day in the life with a brand new little one in our house, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. And just getting life back to normal, updates on the farm, updates on life of what's happening. And so welcome back to the Fuel Homestead channel. We're gonna get started. Every morning I try, even with a newborn, to start with coffee and the Word. It just makes my day so much better when I can be spiritually available to our sweet Jesus. This is the first morning in a while that I'd actually gotten up and did my hair and my makeup. I had a podcast to record this day, and it felt so good to just be available in that way to my family and look more put together. And it was just wonderful. Baby has been such a good sleeper. All babies are good, right? But not all babies are good sleepers. And she has been giving me such a peaceful and restful sleep most nights. Our oldest has been doing the milk chores. He's been doing such a good job with getting milk ready for herd share members. And it was time now for little one to go to sleep so Mama could start getting some other things done. Unfortunately, she wanted to sleep in my arms, not in her bed. And sometimes that's just what entrepreneurship looks like. And this day, that's exactly what it looked like. Having a newborn has brought so much joy to our family. We didn't even know we could enjoy another baby just this much. She was such a surprise because I really didn't think we were going to have any more children, but she brings us so much joy. She did so good while I was doing my podcast, and she sat with her siblings and the babysitter, and she did so good till about 30 minutes in, and then she wanted to nurse, and so that was fine. She nursed, and we got done with the podcast and completed the episode with like 5 minutes to spare before she completely lost it. So we're making progress. She is getting to the point where she is fine with sitting with people, so I think we're gonna lay down and take a little nap now so I can go can some tomato chutney that I made yesterday. On this particular morning, I made a pumpkin oatmeal bake, and I will try to show you that and how to make it in another video. But today it was time for me to just eat and get some sustenance myself before I got started. This tomato chutney was actually an accident. I tried to make ketchup one year and it was a major failure, or so I thought. What I actually ended up making was a delicious tomato chutney. I call it chutney. It's kind of like a jam, but a chunky jam, but with tomatoes and a lot of the same ingredients you'd use for ketchup. It has garlic and onion, clove and sugar and vinegar in it. So a lot of the same ingredients, but it's a little bit sweeter, and it's in a more chutney base. It also has celery seed in it. And so I make the chutney now instead of ketchup, and it's so good on sandwiches or even to use as ketchup, even though it doesn't really taste like ketchup. It's just a great jam to have on hand for a unique sauce. I ended up getting 17 pints and 12 half pints off of this 1 bushel of tomatoes. And I only can it for maybe 15 minutes in a water bath canner, less if you're doing the little half pints, and that should have us set for most of the year. I have fallen in love with this Skylight calendar. I will link a link to it below in the description. I will do maybe a more thorough video on this soon, but this thing has saved my life. It does meal prep, chores, rewards, all kinds of different things. It has a photo slideshow, it has lists for groceries. It's been a lifesaver in our house, so check out the link below for it. Okay, the tomato chutney last batch is going in the canner, and I am so happy because pretty soon that baby is going to be awake and ready for me. I took some time to do a little bit of cleaning this morning. That whole space over there needs to be deep cleaned and organized, but I have not had a chance to do it since having the baby. And so my goal is to get that done next week. But this week I was just cleaning some things up, putting some things back in its space. And I wanted to show you the shelving because I don't think I've done a video showing you this shelving soon, but my husband made this shelving and it is my absolute favorite thing that he's built in our house so far. He used some old fence posts that we had lying around that he made our chicken coop out of, and he made the shelving for this. And so here's a more wide angle of it to show you. Don't mind the mess, I still hadn't finished cleaning yet. And it's just absolutely beautiful. So I will organize this more soon in the week to come, but I just wanted to share that with you guys. It's time for some cleanup, and I figured I would do this on my own while baby was still asleep, because in the past few weeks our oldest son has really been stepping up and doing a lot of housework for us because it's been really hard to keep up with 4 kids and a farm and milk cows. And so he's been such a blessing. And this is our fellowship room where we have fellowship sometimes during the week. And I just want to encourage you, if you are a believer, the church doesn't just happen in the 4 walls of a building. It should definitely spill over to your table. There's a lot of things going on here that we have not had a chance to show you over the last 2 years. In fact, I think I even remember making a video saying I was going to show you what we had new on the Homestead, which was our very first dairy cow back in October of a couple years ago. And since then, we now have 5 cows, and some of them are not in milk yet. Some of them are younger cows, and we're actually trying to breed more calves for our cows so we have milk and we can sell good quality A2 dairy cows. And so there's a lot that's been going on, but life has been absolutely crazy, and I have not made YouTube a priority. And here's the thing. When life gets crazy, you don't have to make things a priority just because they make an income for you or a passive income for you, which is basically what YouTube was. YouTube was a passive income for me, and I didn't have to do it. And so I know a lot of moms out there stress because they feel like they have to do the things, but it was just a minute income of all of the things that I do that help bring in an income on the farm and on our homestead. But we have added dairy cows, focusing on A2 grass genetics, and we are breeding them so that we can breed other beautiful trained dairy cows for other homesteaders. That's one of my passions, and it's working out so well. We've already sold a calf and a couple of cows already, and we are actually expecting a calf in the next month and a half, and then again at the end of this year from some of our dairy cows. And so we have been focusing on managing our pastures well. We have been putting up a high tunnel that we found on Facebook Marketplace. I really, in hindsight, probably should have just bought a brand new one because it would have been way easier. But my husband is a champ, and he really worked hard to get this greenhouse to work for us. And it was so much cheaper in the long run because we got a 30 by 90 foot green high tunnel is what it is. And we were able to actually split it into 3 high tunnels. And so we have 1 high tunnel up. It just has a few extra things that it needs. It needs doors and a little more plastic. And we need to put the greenhouse fabric down in it. Little stuff that we can do over the summer and into the fall. And then we use the second part of it to make an actual cow shelter, which I will link the video of that below. We actually have a farm channel that my son has been trying to keep up with, but it's been so hard for him too because he's so busy. And so he kind of did a little video on there of them putting up that 1/3 of the high tunnel, turning it into a cow shelter. And eventually we want to put actual roofing on that and maybe some siding just a little bit. We still want it to get airflow. We discovered the cows love that shelter way more than the little barn that we made for them, other than in the wintertime. So we do probably want to put some siding on there eventually, but they've really enjoyed that shelter. It is almost the end of summertime here, and we welcomed our newest little one, baby Elelliana, to our homestead back at the end of June. And I was really thinking that Elelliana was going to be a May baby because I kept having signs of not preterm, but early labor. And I normally don't go past 39 weeks and 4 days, but this time I did. I did go past 39 weeks and 4 days into my 40th week. And I was only a few days into my 40th week before Elelliana came. But she was a surprise for us. I didn't think that we were going to have any more babies. And lo and behold, here is little Elelliana making her appearance. And her birth story was very uneventful. I know that some of you are going to ask for her birth story, but there's not much to share because I have such fast labors and deliveries that literally I went into labor at 3 a.m. That morning, and it maybe took 15 to 20 minutes before my contractions really started picking up, and then the midwife came. It was probably one of the more peaceful labors I've ever had. I was actually able to talk through a lot of the contractions and in between them, which I normally can't because my labors are so intense that because my babies come so quickly. But this one wasn't that way because my water didn't break until right as she was being delivered. And so I loved that experience, that I was able to just be calm and talk and really, really aware and present. Like normally during my labors, I'm not present at all. I am just in survival mode between the pain and everything because everything happens so fast. I don't even get a breather. I'm talking like I have 2-hour labors before babies come. And so things still moved fast, but it was very different for me. And so just like Elelliana's sister, Abigail, Elelliana came out with her head and arm beside her head. Well, her arm and hand beside her head. And so, which is basically like delivering a breech baby. And she took a little while. She came down and she got a little bit stuck. But it's just, when I say stuck, it's when your body is just trying to maneuver and make more room for her so that it's best for you and your body, and things are stretching and conforming to her. And so because I was so present and aware this time, like with each baby it's different, but with each baby that you have, you gain more experience if you're having natural labors and deliveries. And so I knew, okay, she's stuck there. I'm gonna move. And so I started moving my hips and my legs, and I was in a squatting position. And eventually she just came out, and she was my biggest baby, over 9 pounds. And but I still don't think 9-pound babies look much bigger than 6-pound babies, to be honest with you. She has been such a joy. It's such a peaceful baby. Her middle name is Salome, which is in Hebrew, it means peace. And I knew when I was pregnant, towards the end of my pregnancy, I knew that I needed to pick a middle name that meant peace. That's just what the Lord had laid on my heart. And I didn't want to name her Shalom. I didn't want to name her anything like that. And so Salome is a beautiful Hebrew name, and she's in the Bible. She was the mother of James and John. She was at the tomb when Jesus rose from the dead. And so I thought that was really fun. And everyone calls her Salome, which is funny because it's such a unique middle name that it just suits her really well. And so she's here, and she has lived up to that middle name. She's so peaceful. She's been an incredible sleeper, which is weird for me because my last 2 babies weren't great sleepers. My last baby was not a sleeper at all. And the Lord just knew after the season that we have just walked through towards the end of my pregnancy, I needed peace. And that is what he has given us in this time. I won't expand on what's been happening in our family, but there have been some health issues that have arisen, and seemingly they're coming under control now. But it was really, really touch and go there with one of our family members at the end of my pregnancy. And on top of that, because I was really stressed out about it, I started getting high blood pressure, which I have never ever had in my pregnancies. I've never had high blood pressure in my life. I've always prided myself that I've had good blood pressure when my whole family is on high blood pressure medication. And so that threw me for a loop, and I had it postpartum as well. And so I should really do a blog post or something on this, but I was able to get it under control without having to be hospitalized or anything like that. And I am thankful to the Lord and to naturopathic friends and holistic friends that gave me advice on how to do that. And so now I'm just here enjoying life and trying to get back into the routine of things. And it's interesting and difficult because I really thought going from like 2 babies to 3 babies would be hard. But it seems like going from 3 babies to 4 babies is actually harder for me. The 3 baby thing was a breeze. The 4th baby, adding the 4th baby with a toddler and a 6-year-old and an almost 16-year-old has been challenging. And especially when you've had a toddler and a baby at the same time, but now you have a toddler, a baby, a young child, and a teenager, and you're going through all of the emotions and all of the things and so much. And so I have been focusing on my family. I've been focusing on our home. I've been trying to be intentional coming out of postpartum. I'm really just now at her being 6 weeks old. I'm just now kind of trying to set new routines in place and trying to be a better homemaker, trying to be a serving wife and a serving mother. And so I'm hoping that I'm going to make some more videos for you guys as I start getting more active again. We won't have any gardening videos and stuff until probably next year, or at least this winter when we start seeds again. And but I do have some podcasts coming up for you, and I have many of those planned, and just informational blog posts for you guys, because I know you guys love the herbalism side of this channel and the podcast. So I do have some of that coming up. I have so many things I want to talk about, so many things church-wise and body of Christ-wise that I want to talk about that I just have not had time to put together this whole past year. Actually, at this point, it's been a year since I've just really been able to hone in on things. So this is what we are doing. This is what's going on here. We are getting ready for October for the Homesteaders of America Conference. This is our 9th year. Can you believe that? And I have an incredible rock solid team this year. I can't even tell you how grateful I am for the people, the women that I have in charge of so many things this year. This is really the first year that I have felt like, okay, everything is covered. Nothing is going to be quite a train wreck. And these women are just rocking it. And so that takes a big burden off of me to really start thinking about growing HOA more, and what can we do to serve the community more? What type of information and education can we do online for the people that can't travel with inflation costs and crazy travel costs right now? And so I've just been, God has me in this place of serving my family and also trying to get me back on track with serving the homesteading community. And that's a big task. That's a big task, but I know that he's anointed me to do it. And so I got to do what he's called me to do. So I hope I don't let you down. I hope that I can, the Lord will sustain me. That is one thing I said, Lord, if you're going to allow me to get pregnant again, then you're going to have to sustain me. And he did. He did sustain me through that pregnancy, because I am always very, very sick during pregnancies, and it's miserable. And so I've been miserable for a year and so I'm just now feeling not miserable, and I'm happy because I love to work and serve others. And the misery was worth it, though. The misery was worth another little fuel baby on our homestead, and I could have never imagined in a million years that we would have 4 children. For those of you who don't know, we suffered through 9 years of infertility from my first baby to my second baby. They're 9 years apart because we just could not get pregnant. If the Lord just said no, my body just said no, and the Lord led me to a ketogenic low carb diet, and within 3 months on that diet I was pregnant unexpectedly and sustained that pregnancy, and I've sustained every pregnancy since then, not even trying. And so the Lord healed my body through natural health, and I thought that was worth sharing again. But all right, guys, I hope that you've enjoyed this little update on our farm and our homestead and our life. We love you guys, and we thank you and appreciate you for all that you do, and thanks for watching. And I hope that we will see more of you again soon, and you'll see more of me again soon. Happy homesteading.